Hey guys, good afternoon, welcome back. Again this afternoon I'm going to do another video about my iris. This time there's been a couple of questions from a guy on the group about caster. Well, what we're used to with a couple of other makes is we buy the caster dongles. These ones are from RC Maker, and normally this thing will clip over the shim for the top ball joint, and then there would be a screw in your hub that you would remove, and then you clip this over and then put the screw back in, and when you put your setup gauges over the hub like that, yeah, like that, you could see your caster angle. With the Irish car there is no screw in the hubs, so there is no possibility of using these. These are from my old car. So there was somebody on Facebook who had kindly showed a print of these things. You have to ignore the big hole, because normally it comes with a really small hole that fits just over the axle. The downside of that is you have to take the hex off every time you want to put the car on the setup gauges. I thought it was a bit of a pain in the backside, because there's a little plastic clip on there, and obviously I want to measure my car with the width, the track width of the car I'm using, and not the width of this 3D printed plastic, because this one may be slightly different to this one. So what I did was I took my vernier gauges and I measured across the points of the wheel hex. I believe these are 12 millimeters. Let me measure them across the flats. Yeah, 12 millimeters. But from point to point, I think it was about 14. Yeah, just under 14 millimeters. So what I did was I took a 13 millimeter drill and I drilled this hole around here. Okay. And then I took a really sharp crafting knife and I just trimmed the rest out till it would fit over the wheel hex. So what I've got now is you can see I've taken the screws out of this bit here, because this bit here will slide over that. And it also, these ones are just a little bit too tight, then fits completely over the hex as well. I had 4 printed so that I can do every corner in one go. And then these slide like that over the hubs. And then what's nice about this is you can then, let me just put the gauges on it. You can then take your gauges, you can put them on like this, and then screw your little temporary wheel nut things on. Obviously this is the fronty. The touring car will be exactly the same, but you'll have a diff in the back. And because they're round and not hexed, you can roll them over the hex. So I'll just tighten those up like that. And then the front ones. And again, like that. And then we take the nuts and we screw these back on like that. Tighten them down. This one's a little bit tight. This one as well. Oh, okay. I think after a few times you've used them, they'll actually screw on quite nicely. So that's that. Okay. And then what you can see, if I could turn the wheel up a little bit, you can actually see that it's pointing to where the caster is on the gauges. You can see that I painted the point red because I'm a blind old man, and I can see it a little bit easier. And what's also easier is actually if you leave the wheel nuts just a touch loose, when you're adjusting the upper arms, the setup can move, and then just give them a little bit of a nip when you're done, and you can check your caster. At the moment it looks like I've got 2 degrees on one side at the front here, 4 degrees on this side, almost 8 degrees at the back on this side, and almost 8 degrees on the back on this side. Okay, I need to do some work on this. The other way of doing it, obviously with the caster, is you take your vernier gauge and you measure the distance in here. The downside of doing that is obviously you need to get the vernier gauge through the setup gauge to measure the screw distance. Shims are also possible. I ordered one of these. This is an easy camber gauge, so you can measure your camber. But what you could do is you can actually put it against a suspension arm and measure the caster. It was a good idea, I think, but it just didn't work. And I like these little things. They're just easy to use. You click them over your wheel hexes now, and it works like that. Let me know what you think. If you've got any better ideas, other ideas, I'm open for ideas. A little quick modification for something that one of the guys had shared on the group, and I just think it works perfectly. Again, you take the setup gauges off, and then you just pull them off the wheel hex, and there you are. Super simple, super easy. And then whether you screw the screw in or not is completely up to you. I like to use them. It just takes a little bit of play out of the bearing. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Cheers, guys.